The story begins with the moment investigators confirm the last known sighting of Grace at 9:41 p.m. on Saturday, December 1st, inside the City Life Hotel. She was seen with a male companion, a man police had already identified and interviewed. That moment would become the pivot point of one of New Zealand's most heartbreaking modern cases, a case that would shake a nation known for safety, hospitality, and trust. The video opens with the intensity of that police interview. You're listening to a man confronted with the truth he has tried to bend. A detective tells him he has lied, that what he's calling a misunderstanding is actually a major myth. The pressure rises as the investigator asks directly if he killed Grace. This sets the tone for everything we're about to break down, because what happened to this young woman is not only tragic, but deeply disturbing in how it unfolded. Grace was born on December 2nd, 1996. She was someone whose life carried promise, ambition, and adventure. From Wickford in Essex, she had a loving family and a wide circle of friends. She studied advertising and marketing at the University of Lincoln and had always dreamed of traveling the world. After graduating, she finally made that dream happen, heading off on her backpacking journey. Her social media was filled with photos and videos capturing her excitement as she traveled through South America and then to New Zealand. But on December 2nd, Grace's 22nd birthday, her family sent her messages, photos, and videos. Messages she never saw. When she didn't reply, her family felt uneasy. She was consistent, reliable, and never went long without checking in. 3 days passed, and their concern became fear, eventually leading them to report her missing. New Zealand police began searching for her at her hostel. Staff confirmed she never returned to her room on the night of her birthday. Investigators initially considered the common issue of hikers going missing in the country's mountain ranges, but that theory collapsed quickly when they discovered that Grace had been in central Auckland that night. The search turned towards CCTV. Footage from base backpackers shows her walking out into the rain at 5:43 p.m. She waits, looks around, pulls out her phone. Minutes later, a man approaches. When he sees her, he pretends to walk past before turning back with an enthusiastic hug. Together, they walk away, take an escalator, and head into a nearby bar. Investigators urgently needed to know who he was. That answer came unexpectedly from social media. A recent photo of Grace had a comment underneath it. Beautiful, very radiant. The account belonged to a man named Jesse Shane. Police contacted him. He confirmed he had met Grace on Tinder and agreed to speak with investigators after work. His name, Jesse Shane Kempson. In his interview, he described meeting Grace outside the Sky City Entertainment Complex because he wasn't too sure if she was real. He said they went to a bar, had drinks, laughed, and talked. He claimed that after leaving the bar, they parted ways, talked about maybe meeting again, and that he woke up late the next morning feeling hungover but otherwise fine. While Jesse spoke, detectives were collecting Grace's belongings from the hostel. The disappearance dominated national news by this point. Grace's father flew to New Zealand, giving a heart-wrenching statement pleading for anyone with information to come forward. But behind the scenes, detectives had already discovered Jesse's story wasn't adding up. Detective Inspector Scott Beard revealed new information publicly. Grace had been seen entering Jesse's hotel at 9:41 p.m. That detail dismantled Jesse's claim that they parted ways on the street. He had taken her to his hotel. With this new revelation, the investigation intensified. The community began searching parks, beaches, and city areas, hoping for a miracle. Meanwhile, forensic analysts identified another major issue with Jesse's timeline. He insisted he woke around 10 a.m. on December 2nd, hungover and disoriented. But CCTV from the hotel showed him in the lift at 8:14 a.m., pushing a suitcase. When confronted, he seemed caught off guard, struggling to explain the contradiction. The detective pointed out that Jesse did not look drunk on the footage, not even slightly impaired. Then came December 8th, when police officially reclassified Grace's case as a suspected murder. That shift meant investigators had uncovered enough evidence to be confident something far more sinister had occurred in that hotel room. Under pressure, Jesse changed his story. He claimed that he and Grace had engaged in consensual sex involving bondage, and that she had asked him to apply pressure to her neck. He said he went to shower afterward, then fell asleep. When he woke, according to his story, he assumed she had simply left. He never checked. He claimed he panicked when he eventually found her unresponsive, but police weren't convinced. Forensic evidence told an entirely different story. Grace's phone data, Jesse's Google searches about body disposal, and disturbing photographs found on his phone shattered his claims. The CCTV timeline showed him buying a suitcase, wheeling it through the hotel, and leaving with it the next morning. He purchased cleaning supplies, disposed of items, washed clothes, and tried to erase forensic traces from the room. And in a chilling twist, after leaving his hotel room with Grace's body inside a suitcase, he went on another Tinder date. He told this woman he needed a large bag because he coached children and needed to carry equipment. He also spoke about murder, body disposal, and how one wrong move could ruin a man's life. The woman felt uneasy and made excuses to separate from him. On December 9th, Jesse led police to Grace's body. She had been placed in a suitcase and buried in a remote area of the Waitakere Ranges. It was an area so vast that without his cooperation, it might never have been found quickly. New Zealand mourned. Candlelight vigils were held. Travelers, locals, and even government leaders expressed sorrow, disbelief, and anger. The Prime Minister delivered an emotional apology on behalf of the nation, acknowledging Grace should have been safe in their country. A post-mortem confirmed Grace died from manual pressure to her neck. There were no signs supporting Jesse's claims of an accident. Forensic testing revealed blood smears, footprints, and attempts to clean the scene. Evidence of a deliberate cover-up was overwhelming. Further investigation into Jesse's past painted an even darker picture. Women came forward describing violent encounters, manipulative behavior, threats, and assaults. One British backpacker reported that he had raped her earlier that year. His former girlfriend described ongoing violence and theft. The pattern became impossible to ignore. When the trial began in late 2019, the prosecution presented a devastating timeline of evidence. Google searches, CCTV, forensic results, witness statements, digital footprints, and Jesse's inconsistent stories all pointed toward intentional harm, not misadventure. Grace, much smaller and physically vulnerable, would have had no ability to protect herself. After a 3-week trial, the jury unanimously found Jesse Kempson guilty of murder. Many jurors cried as the verdict was delivered. Grace's father addressed the media outside court, speaking with unimaginable grief but also strength, describing how their lives had been torn apart. Jesse later received additional sentences for unrelated offenses involving 2 other women. His actions revealed a long pattern of predatory behavior hidden behind a polished exterior. Grace was remembered as a vibrant, kind, adventurous young woman whose life was filled with promise. Her story sparked discussions around travel safety, dating app caution, and the hidden dangers posed by those who manipulate and deceive.